Totally Football Show. Today, Carabao Cup. Cherki with all the trimmings for Manchester City as they make the semi-finals. Who else is through? We round up the midweek news and look ahead to Premier League Matchday 17. Is this the weekend that Wolves finally get a win? Who is the top teenage goal scorer in the league this season? And will Helena Christensen soon be at Turf Moor? Plus, AFCON. Now that lots of players have gone to Morocco, how much are we looking forward to the Cup of Nations? All that and more in this Totally Football Show. Thursday, the 18th of December. Duncan Alexander's in the pod again. Hey, Duncan.
Hello, James.
Lovely to see you. We had you here just yesterday. We did a special extra show.
Yeah.
With that Asif Kapadia.
Yeah.
And Sasha Gurinov. It'll be out with you Saturday. Jay Harris is with us. Hey, Jay.
Hey, James. You all good?
And Benji Lanyado, CEO of Pick Fair Tick. Thank you. How are you?
I'm all right. You know, sort of reflective this time of year.
Well,
do you sort of find yourself looking back at your camera roll and thinking, what's the best shots I've taken this year? And
that's one thing people are thinking. With regard to another, again, as a public service at this difficult time, let me ask, if you're struggling for present ideas this Christmas, then how about The Athletic's lovely and prestigious volume, The Soccer 100, which contains lovely stories and profiles written by the many talents of the Athletic family.
All new, fascinating content, yes.
There you go. I've been leafing through my copy.
Yeah?
It's a big book as well. You give that to someone, they'll be like, whoa.
Yeah. It's not a stocking filler, it's a main present.
That's a proper present. Or, if you really want them to cry with joy come Christmas morning, buy them tickets to the Totally Football Show Live, which, as you know, listener, is on Monday the 23rd of March. Actually, why don't you just buy them all the remaining tickets? And then they can stretch out in their own exclusive area. We might throw in a velvet rope with 79 selected guests of their own. They can have a little party. There you go.
Duncan's on the drinks.
Duncan will be on the drinks. That is happening. So there's 80 tickets left. Not very many. Right now, listener, other listeners are scrambling to lock down those few places. So, snooze, lose paradigm. Ahoy. There you go. Oh, how do you find out details? Go to leicestersquaretheatre.com or click on the link in the episode description. Now, speaking of the episode description, also in there this week, you'll find a survey in which you can tell us what you think about the Totally Football Show. Hey, what's this? You can nominate your favourite episode. I'm thinking this one's going to be a strong contender. Who your favourite guests are. IDEM, and just generally give us your thoughts. Not a referendum, not legally binding, but I've already done mine, Benji.
And
were you in it? That's
who did you vote for? Best guess?
I'm not going to
Come on, you can tell me.
I'm not going to tell you that.
I feel extra pressure now. This is a bit sort of
that's
popularity contest.
Exactly. This is your season review performed by the listener.
Okay.
Yeah, we're answerable to our audience.
Well,
so
you asked my flaws, if anything, is that I try too hard.
Yeah.
What are the other kind of interview questions?
You give 111%.
Oh, easily. Yeah, I'm just a perfectionist. That's my biggest problem, I find.
So we did a totally extra yesterday, Duncan. We've got another one we're going to make for next week, which is going to be of a seasonal nature. And if you want to get in a question for that, you have to be quick because we're actually going to record it this Friday morning. But I think we're giving a copy of the Soccer 100 to the best question. On the subject of Christmas presents, Benji, have you got a seasonal pick fair offer?
Yeah, there's things going on at the moment. I mean, if you're looking to seamlessly share your images with friends and family, there might be something pretty special up there.
It's that time of year, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jay, did you buy the Odemwingie shirt from QPR?
I did not. Actually, I forgot about that. We should see how much that's going for now.
Would you have a look?
I don't believe that's real. I think they've got a shirt from that era and they've printed it.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
But
it looked too pristine.
Had the deal gone through,
fair.
Would they not have had to have a shirt for him to be posing with?
To be clear, I'm saying it's a genuine shirt from that season, but I think that they've printed that.
Really?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, where has it been kept all this time? Just like in a bit like Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah. We should someone should ask Peter. He's incredibly intelligent, Peter Odemwingie, and he speaks. He's fluent in Russian as well. Is that right?
He's done the knowledge. He knows every string.
Is that the one? He's done the knowledge.
No,
Has he?
No, right.
Well, he found his way to Loftus Road.
I can't remember what. Very good. I can't remember what it is, but you hear him speak. He's very eloquent, and then you look at his background. It's very interesting, and he speaks multiple languages. So give him a call. Yeah,
he's
one of those that's like a bit of a sort of polymath type character.
Really?
And his shirt is currently £875.
Woo!
And there's one day at the time of recording, 1 day, 1 hour, 40 minutes left. So by the time you're listening, you probably have under 24 hours.
So you could buy that shirt, which may or may not be genuine, or all the remaining tickets for, actually not quite, maybe half the remaining tickets for.
Or
Totally
you could buy the shirt and come to the live show wearing the shirt.
Damn, if you did that.
Yeah, you get a free book if you do that.
Jay, we're going to be asking you about how excited you are about AFCON soon enough. But there's lots to talk about, of course, with the League Cup popping back in for a little bit of an appearance. Quarterfinals this week, 3 of the 4. Chelsea on Tuesday won 3-1 at League One Cardiff City to book their semi-final slot. Wednesday, Man City joined them. They beat Brentford 2-0. That's City's 6th win in a row in all competitions. In the semi-finals in January, Man City will be facing Newcastle, who were 2-1 winners late on against Fulham on Wednesday. 92nd minute it was that Lewis Miley popped up with the header to book their passage. As for the other semi-final, well, that will see Chelsea in a huge London derby, but we don't know against who, because the other quarterfinal is Arsenal against Palace, and that's not going to be played until next Tuesday, because Palace are in action this evening as we record, Thursday night, in the Conference League against Finnish side capital K, lowercase u, capital PS, Cups.
Wicked.
Yeah, poor Palace. Palace have to play Thursday night, and then on Saturday against Leeds, that's 2 games in 48 hours, and then on Tuesday they're back out against Arsenal, that's 3 games in 6 days. I can't imagine another club being put through a schedule like that.
I think they're away against Leeds as well at Ellen Road to just add to the load.
Are they away in cups? No. Okay.
No.
Well,
Yeah, and they're going to play the full reserves against Cups. Apparently.
It's just a good thing that they don't have one of the smaller squads in the Premier League.
They got players. They'll find some. They'll go down the Power League and get some players in. But yeah, I think
Power League.
Yeah, I think they're going to concentrate on the Leeds game with a little glance at the Arsenal game.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, speaking of fixture congestion, Chelsea and City getting through to the semi-finals means that those 2 clubs will now face 9 matches in January across 4 different competitions. Newcastle will have 8. City, who, as I mentioned, booked their place with a 2-0 win against Brentford. Pep had made 7 changes to his lineup. Brentford, 6. It's still that kind of phase of the League Cup. When do we get to kind of full-strength lineups? Semis?
Yeah, semis. But I mean, I was surprised that Brentford did do that, because I think I was looking at online and some of their fans were pretty annoyed that they went so sort of defensive. I mean, it's kind of understandable away at City, but they kind of almost gave the game up a bit. And there seems to be, Jay might know more, but there seems to be a little bit of doubt creeping in about Keith Andrews and a bit of upset.
Oh, I think some of the changes were enforced, and the biggest misses were Igor Thiago, who'd just been crowned Player of the Month. First Brentford player to ever win the Premier League Player of the Month, which I was quite surprised by. Yeah, I thought surely Ericsson or Tony had won it once, maybe in Bumo Vista last season, but no. Thiago and Henderson were both missing, and I think instantly that just nullified Brentford's threat. Dango Ouattara's gone off to AFCON with Burkina Faso, and I think this sort of showed that Brentford's starting lineup is very good. The second you take a couple of, especially those attackers, out of that lineup, they look very threadbare. They're essentially over-reliant in this game on set pieces and Schade using his speed, which did work. I don't know if you guys have seen the Kusanov incident.
That was the other thing missing, was the red card for Kusanov, surely.
Exactly. That's I've watched it back so many times now. You know, and you almost convince yourself, it's definitely a red card. You can't remember how you felt when you first saw it, but it is a wild challenge.
Yeah.
Schade's got in between the 2 centre-backs.
Yeah, there's no
and he's
other
about to have a
defender.
one-on-one on goal.
Yeah.
So surely that is denial of goal-scoring opportunity.
You would think so, wouldn't you? That was about 15 minutes in. About 15 minutes later came a Ryan Cherki banger. Fantastic goal, after which he did the Erling Haaland celebration.
Yeah. The thing which amazes me about this goal
Yeah.
is Michael Coyote actually touches it on the line, but Cherki hits it with such heat. Watch it back. I'm like, fair play to anybody who even attempted to try and flick the ball with their head over the bar, because that probably stung. But it's a fantastic piece of skill to trick Damsgaard as if he's going to hit it first time on his left and just rifle it with his right. Was a sensational goal.
Cherki is very much bringing the heat right now. 11th goal in involvement in 17 appearances. But
Well, he's the joint top assister in the Premier League now. And I think the way that City have introduced him kind of has worked better than the way Liverpool have done Florian Wirtz, because they were kind of the same sort of signing. Liverpool were thinking about Cherki as well, and City obviously were thinking about Wirtz. But Liverpool just played Wirtz as much as they can, and it's not really worked. Whereas Cherki, he started quite slowly and didn't get that much game time.
He was injured at some point, wasn't he, as well?
Yeah, he picked up a few injuries, but as Wirtz has, I guess. But like, he's been kind of adapted to the Premier League, and well, obviously this wasn't the Premier League, but that level, and he's really coming good now. And yeah, I mean, he's just one of those players that you just love watching, and he's so two-footed as well.
Yeah. City with their 6th win in a row in all competitions. The chances of them making it 7 in a row look good because they host
All right, James, come on.
West Ham. West Ham at the weekend, Benji. Pep, has he ever lost against West Ham in his 20 meetings with them in all competitions?
We knocked him out of the cup once, actually, Jimbo.
Well,
actually,
you did, though, after a penalty shootout.
That's a draw then, yeah.
Knocked them out.
All right, well, that's a question. So once in 20?
Yeah. I actually hope that we do a Brentford and play a weakened side because...
Really?
Yeah, sack it off. We've got 4 much more winnable games afterwards.
Okay.
Anyway, we can talk about that later.
Okay.
But just on City quickly, because obviously Savinho scores the second goal, and it was at the point in time where I think it was around the 67th minute. Brentford were trying to attack a little bit more, and they get hit on the counter. But I just hadn't heard the name Savinho since the summer when Spurs were endlessly trying to sign him for about 50, 60 million pounds. It's only his second goal of the season, and they've both come in the Carabao Cup, and he barely plays for City. But it's just so strange because fast forward, rewind 18 months ago, and he was supposed to be this really promising winger who'd had a really good season with, I think it was Girona.
I wonder how they beat other clubs to his signature, Savinho.
Go on, Benji, spell it out.
they pretty much own Girona, the City group.
Part of the City group.
Yeah.
I think Troyes are part of the City group as well, I think.
Okay. Yeah, a number of them. There's Melbourne.
Deep down we all are, I think.
Did he ever actually play for Troyes?
I don't think so, but there's other...
I think they signed him, but...
maybe you're right.
So...
No, he didn't. He never played for Troyes. He was on loan at PSV and then Girona. And
with
then
that cleared up, Newcastle on Wednesday night, we thought that was heading to pens until Lewis Miley popped up.
Lewis Miley. He's been eating his vegetables. He's a big boy now. Because don't you remember, he was this tiny little waif-like thing.
I'm not sure it's the vegetables that do that.
Well, either way, well done his parents. They're like making sure he,
Yes, definitely his parents are not the nutritionists.
Them too, fair enough. Yeah. Well, he's 6'2" now, apparently.
Is he 6'2"?
Well, he scores the winning goal, glancing header. It's a lovely header.
It is a nice header.
And he's he's bulked out a little bit. He's really tall. He's still got that kind of 8-year-old face. But yeah, I thought, lovely moment for him. And I guess it's, Newcastle... They need a bit of homegrown something, I think.
Right, a local hero.
Yeah. Like they had, those moments stand out for Newcastle. I think we had Longstaff in the Champions League and Dan Burn in the Cup last year.
Right, they won't have Dan Burn for a while. He's been confirmed to picked up. Do you remember there was that sliding challenge? He's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks.
Punctured lung.
Is it a punctured lung?
A broken ribbon.
That's as bad as it gets, right? Going in for a tackle in the derby and puncturing your lung. That will hurt him more than any other person.
Who is it? Mukiele. Watch out, Mukiele next derby.
Ooh.
Dan Burn's coming for you.
Good news anyway for the Magpies after that defeat to Sunderland at the weekend. There was some bad news though as well because they picked up yet more injuries. They've already got burnout after the derby. Well, burnout, Kieran Trippier, Emil Kraft, Sven Botman already on the sidelines too. Tino Livramento came off looking uncomfortable after 76 minutes. Lewis Hall also pulling out in the warm-up. So ahead of their clash this weekend with Chelsea, that's not looking too clever. Chelsea, who themselves went through in the Carabao Cup on Tuesday with a 3-1 win away at Cardiff. Enzo Maresca went with a completely different lineup to the one which had beaten Everton at the weekend, but he then had to go back to the bench because the League One side, Cardiff City, proved not as easy as perhaps he'd been hoping. Garnacho opened the scoring, then Cardiff City pulled one back through David Turnbull, another nice header.
Great header, yeah.
And eventually it was Neto with a very nice team goal, and then Garnacho late on.
Garnacho?
Yeah, Garnacho.
2 really cool finishes. And I didn't have him down as a cool finishes kind of guy.
No one had
Well, he did
him
win
down.
the Pushkas Award for an overhead kick.
Yes, well, yeah, more that than cool finishes. But if he can add that to his game consistently,
Cool
then
finishing.
Yeah, then Chelsea might have pulled off an incredible signing there. I occasionally do have it with Garnacho. I wonder, like, oh my God, is he maybe like going to be the best player on the planet? And then, of course,
Chelsea fans think
deeply lets you down. But there is this whole like cavalcade of players leaving Manchester United and instantly becoming really, really good. I do wonder if that will happen to him as well.
Perhaps, Benji.
Remember, it was against League One Cardiff. Yeah, I know it's a good finish. I think the second one in particular, because he's got to take it quite quickly.
Because usually he's rapid and he'll get past his player, he'll go one-on-one and then he'll do a Calvin Bassey. Whereas this time...
Is that what we're calling it now, a Calvin Bassey?
This time, they were really sort of deft, cute finishes. Anyway, we'll probably won't see another one of those for a couple of seasons. But
or maybe we will.
Maybe we will.
When the Carabao Cup semi-finals roll around in January. Enzo Maresca Love Index, how's that standing after his worst 48 hours ever? He was applauded by the fans Tuesday who sang, "Oh, Enzo Maresca," and he said he was happy afterwards. Still no word on what the beef was, but anyway, there you go. They travel to St James's Park for the opening game of Premier League Match Day 17 on Saturday. The Magpies, without a bunch of players, they've got a terrific record at home, particularly against Chelsea. They've won their last 4 on Tyneside against the Blues. Chelsea, though, have Moises Caicedo back from suspension, which feels important.
Massive, yeah. He's like, I was doing a bit of research into all-rounders, and he's.
Oh, were you, Benji?
Yeah, we'll come back to that later if you like. He's got 3 goals and an assist this year, and his interceptions are incredible. So he's missed 25% of the season, and yet he's still made more interceptions than any other player in the league. I think he sort of properly ties the room together for them. And if Cole Palmer's sort of coming back fit now, he's rested for this game. Yeah. I do think a available Caicedo and a fully fit Cole Palmer could make them into a real, challenger. Second half of the season.
Chelsea taking Cole to Newcastle.
Very good.
I mean, it's legacy content. Isn't it? Premier League Matchday 17. What's this? 8 games on Saturday, only 1 on Sunday, and then another on Monday.
That is the most talking of heritage content. That is a 1992-93 lineup.
Is it?
Yeah. That's how the Premier League started.
All right, lovely stuff. Did it start with 2 games at 8 p.m. on a Saturday?
No, it didn't do that. No.
Okay.
That would have blown people's minds.
Well, that's progress for you because thanks to science, we can now have 2 fixtures involving London clubs playing way up north at 8 o'clock on a Saturday night. Let's see, it all starts, as mentioned, with Newcastle-Chelsea Saturday lunchtime, then strap in for Wolves-Brentford at 3. Strong chance of Wolves' first win of the season? Question mark? Yeah. Also at 3 o'clock, Man City against West Ham, Brighton-Sunderland for the first time ever in the Premier League, and Bournemouth-Burnley. At 5:30, Spurs and Liverpool take the baton of crisis and pass it like a hot potato back and forth between themselves. And then those 8 p.m. games, Leeds Palace and Everton Arsenal. Ooh. The one game on the Sunday is Aston Villa against Man United. And to be fair, if you're just going to have one game this Sunday, that's not a bad one to have. And then on Monday, it's Fulham Forest. Let's begin with Villa against Man United. Hey, I've got 2 big questions here. 1, can Villa keep up their remarkable form? And 2, how will United be after what they got up to on Monday night in that rush it to DVD instant classic 4-4 with Bournemouth? Did everybody see this?
Oh, yeah.
It was mad. You can't unsee it.
No. I close my eyes and I see it again and again.
Yeah. It rivaled, many will say, they are saying that it rivals Man United's Lyon Europa League banger for just sheer chaos enjoyment content. 8 goals, 2 direct from free kicks, more shots than any Premier League game this season, and more shots on target as well. 18 shots on target in this game.
And a controversial T-shirt. Well, not controversial.
What was the T-shirt?
T-shirt. Kobbie Mainoo's brother was wearing a shirt in the crowd which said "Free Mainoo" or "Free Kobbie."
Right.
Free Kobbie.
Is that their transfer policy?
Must be.
Right, okay. Well, that's very much the question. Where's he going to be going in his bid for minutes?
Also, we came so close to the longest running good stat of all time being shattered, which is Manchester United haven't lost a home game when they've been leading at half-time since May 1984.
I couldn't believe that. It's extraordinary. Man United, they're rubbish now.
It's amazing it survived the banter era. But Lammers made 2 pretty big saves in injury time, and I was poised because that's a foundational bit of information.
Well, they both had chances to win it later on. There could have been, I don't know, 3 or 4 goals in time added on. Throughout the game, no side had ever had more than a 1-goal lead. So it was pretty excellent in terms of just crazy from start to finish. It's going to be hard to beat. But then again, maybe this weekend we'll see it because Villa are in absolutely amazing form and United can score goals but absolutely cannot hold on to leads. And for all the excitement for the neutrals, that must be the big concern for Ruben Amorim.
Yeah, I think there's definite signs of improvement. I think the first half against Bournemouth was the best I've seen Manchester United play for, I don't know, 8-9 years. It was really kind of some of the interplay was brilliant. If you look at their average positions for the first half, they were sort of playing a back four.
Well, he sort of, I remember Laurie for The Athletic writing a piece saying that they were shifting to a 4-3-3 from this game onwards.
Yeah, and in possession, Lenny Yoro was basically playing at right back. So, and it kind of, whether Amorim was pleased or not to suddenly see his team become incredibly creative and attacking, managers alike. But yeah, I think they just need to learn, and Amorim keeps saying this, but they just need to learn control. They kind of...
Is it learning control or is it they simply don't have the midfield to control?
Possibly a bit of both. I think the argument that Bruno Fernandes as an 8 doesn't give you that control. But yeah, they've let 8 points slip from Leeds this season.
I've got 10. They dropped 10 points from winning positions this season.
Oh, yeah.
Over the course of the season. Certainly 6 of those 10 have been from home games against Everton, West Ham and Bournemouth, which, if you're a United fan, is not really a great sign. Anyway, they are...
Well, if you add those points on, they'd be up there in the title race.
They would be literally joint top with Arsenal. Villa are not far behind Arsenal, 3 points currently. They're on an extraordinary 9-game winning run across all competitions, including their last 6 in the league. Villa have already beaten both Manchester City and Arsenal, the top 2, at Villa Park this season. In fact, they've only lost one of their last 26 Premier League matches there. And the other thing about Villa was any conversation about them really until the last couple of weeks has had to be asterisked with but they're massively overperforming their XG. They're not creating enough chances now. But I believe that the numbers no longer say that. Is that right?
No, they do. Oh, the XG table, Villa are 16th.
Yeah,
what?
Overall.
Really?
But if you look at the XG form table, which surely has to be a thing, in recent weeks,
wasn't that XG against couple of years West Ham
against
0.6.
Yeah.
So and they scored 3 goals.
You offer West Ham. I give you Brighton, where they had a 2.41 XG against Arsenal, 2.16. Boom. 4 goals scored in that.
They were 0.06 against West Ham.
Yeah.
But hold on, one of those goals was Morgan Rogers shooting without a goalkeeper.
But that's the XG flaw. With due respect.
No, XG takes into account where goalkeepers are. If a goalkeeper's not there, the XG will be boosted.
Well. As I say, big XG against Brighton, where all their goals came from within the penalty box. So
the other side of this narrative, by the way, is what a season to be a Villa fan. You're just scoring bangers every single week.
No, that's much better, Benji, than this XG chat.
It's the same thing. That is the same thing. Like one man's, going the XG is not good, is another man's look at this succession of bangers.
I like that other man.
Do you like the other man?
I like the other
much
man.
more fun.
And I think it's interesting because I think Villa fans are getting a bit annoyed, rightly, by people externally going, well, actually, I don't think this was nice. Because, everyone likes seeing their team score long-range goals. Is it sustainable?
But this is my point. In recent weeks, against Arsenal and Brighton, they didn't score long-range goals. They scored goals from within the penalty area. So Villa, I don't think if we did a quick straw poll, hang on with your butt, take your butt out of here.
Hang on, Scrooge. Humbug over there.
I don't think any of us would say that we think Villa are going to be in the title race come May, are we? But
Benji says
You think? Yeah.
I think so, yeah. I think they're going to have a big part to play.
It's a huge
part to play. Is Chelsea, a different story.
Chelsea and Villa are the two that I think are going to...
Right, they could have an impact, but will they be contenders come the end of the season? I'm not sure anybody truly believes that.
I mean, maybe this is wishful thinking, but I do wonder whether Arsenal are getting a bit wobbly.
Well,
and therefore
their XG is good, mate. If you look at
Arsenal are clearly getting wobbly.
if we study the much hated XG table, then Arsenal and City are first and second.
But that's an XG table based on the season so far.
Yeah,
If
based
you're looking
on
at the
performance
trend
of the teams in the league, which is
if you're looking at the
like
performances away from home, which they will be this weekend at Everton, a side where Arsenal, a side who've failed to win, they didn't win against 10-man Chelsea on the road. They got beaten by Villa on the road. They drew with Sunderland
only
on the
Crystal
road.
Palace have got more away points than Arsenal this season. If you want to base it on points, the old X points.
But that's like going to see a doctor and saying, "Doctor, I don't feel very well." And he says, "Well, over the last 6 years, your temperature's been completely normal, so your average is fine." Whereas if he says in the last 5 minutes the thermometer shows you with a raging fever, he would correctly suggest you take some medication. Do Arsenal need some medication? That's very much the question. And do Villa, or are Villa now very much looking the brightest and bounciest of the ward? I'm really stretching.
I believe in Villa. I believe in Villa.
All right.
Having seen it last weekend, like there does feel like something quite magical's happening,
Yeah, but
and they deserve it as well.
It's that thing. Is a team good, or have they just played West Ham?
So mean. It's Christmas.
So harsh. Villa have a weirdly terrible record against Man United. They've only won one of their last 26 Premier League meetings at Villa Park, I think, with them, which is a crazy stat. Also, final day of last season at Old Trafford, they got beaten. That was the defeat which cost them their Champions League place and then messed up their whole transfer thingy over the summer.
And forced them into taking lots of long shots, which Benji likes. So, sliding doors.
The one thing that Villa will be happy about is that United have lost Ahmad and Buemo and Mazraoui to AFCON.
AFCON. Casemiro is going to be suspended, and Bruno's not feeling loved. His comments about essentially Man United hoping to get rid of him last summer, which certainly surprised me, was that, rather than a plea for love, was it actually a bit of a, hello clubs out there, come and get me because you can get me?
Don't think so. I think it's sort of fair enough, right?
I didn't blame him for coming out and
I
saying
don't blame him for it.
No, but I think he loves Manchester United. I think he was a little bit hurt that they were kind of going, there's quite a lot of money.
As in, is it more him saying, I'm fed up with this now, I could be swayed in the future? Is that what yours?
I think I was wondering whether he was inviting moves because having carried that team for so long, he's clearly bitter about the fact that, bitter is a strong word? Well, he's not happy about the fact that the club said to him, we'll be fine without
you. There aren't Bruno sort of truthers out there that think he's the problem with Man United. That you get a lot of people talking about how like he fundamentally sort of misaligns their shape. And which I personally think is nonsense. You look at his output; it's consistently like elite. But at some stage he's going to go, and I do want it would be unsurprising if it was this season, the end of this season anyway.
I wonder if this interview is the classic scenario because he did it in Portuguese.
Right.
When the next time he's asked about it, he says, "It's been translated badly. I didn't say that. I just said I want to be here, etc." And he's going to try and sweep it under the carpet, is my take on it, which seems to happen all the time. Anytime a Premier League player does an interview in their home country, they always say, "Oh no, it's been mistranslated. I didn't quite say that."
Well, by the time this game takes place, Villa could be 6 points off the top of the table because their potential title rivals, Arsenal and Man City, both play on Saturday. Arsenal will be at the Hill Dickinson at 8 p.m. Man City will be earlier that day at home to West Ham. City, with that remarkable run of form themselves, they've won their past 4 in the Premier League and scoring at least 3 times in each one of those, Benji, as they prepare to host the Hammers. How do you feel?
Overwhelmingly pessimistic. I think,
relegation zone at Christmas for the Hammers?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I actually think that we've looked a lot better since Nuno came in. We're back where we started. He's the sort of Portuguese David Moyes, right? Which is fine. That worked really well for us. But you start looking around and wondering, well, who? Someone's got to drop. And I think at the moment, all West Ham fans are solely thinking about Leeds. They're the only ones that
Leeds. They can't hold on to them. But
and Jimbo, you never guess who West Ham have got on the last day of the season.
I had no idea.
Really?
Yeah, Leeds at home. So I actually do think it is probably coming down to us two, because I don't see anyone else sort of dropping precipitously.
Someone told Westfield.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
Is that a Westfield song reference?
No, just it'll be a war zone.
Shopping centre.
Upset Leeds fans marching through, one of
Stratford, Westfield.
London's.
If that's a relegation playoff,
Yeah.
Westfield better get the right place.
Oh,
in.
I had Westlife. I heard Westlife. I'm so sorry. The situation down the bottom, Benji. Wolves are 14 points from safety. So far, they've collected 2, which by my calculations, they would need another 3.36 seasons just to close that gap if nobody else picked up any points ever. Still, Brentford visit them on Saturday afternoon. We'll get onto that game soon enough. Forest, Leeds, West Ham and Burnley are the teams that most look at risk. Burnley are 6 points from safety, and they're at Bournemouth on Saturday. West Ham in 18th spot, 3 points behind Leeds. Visit City, as we know, and Leeds play Palace this weekend. That's City, anyway, who will be confident of their chances of picking up 3 points and taking top spot in the league on Saturday until at least Arsenal play their game away at Everton.
Could psychologically rock Arsenal as they warm up.
Couldn't it? Arsenal, who are looking to be top at Christmas, they've done it twice already in the past 3 seasons, and of course it worked out so well for them on both occasions. It will see Mikel Arteta up against his former club, Everton, who drew both games with Arsenal last season. Arsenal's away form?
Very good.
Is it, though, Duncan?
Yeah, right. They have they're winless in the last 3 away and lost 1-0 in the last 2. But I think there were mitigating circumstances in some of those.
Okay.
I think this has been the first clear week they've had for quite a long time.
Possibly since the start of the season, or all season.
Yeah. And Arteta spoke about decompressing after last weekend, and then no doubt they've been hard at it at the training pitch. I think if Trossard's fit, he'll start, and I think.
Okay. Calafiori is also back from suspension, while Everton are now without Ndiaye and Gaye and Dewsbury Hall too, and probably Jack Grealish, we believe.
Yeah, this is Everton's issues. That I watched the Chelsea game last weekend, and they're pretty good. They attack, they create a lot of good chances, but they've got 11 good players.
I'm not sure. First of all, remember that lad Tyler Dibbling?
Yeah.
This gives him a bit of a chance, and I think that if he does play on the left, he usually plays on the right, but if he does play on the left in Grealish's absence, in fact, he can play either side if Ndiaye's not there. Maybe this is his time to shine. And I really like that Carlos Alcaraz chap. He always seems to come in and do a really good job. He reminds me of, in fact, he was at Southampton, wasn't he? He reminds me of Fernandes, who's gone to West Ham from Southampton. Good kind of all-round box-to-box. I don't know, I think they'll be all right. I think they've got a chance of doing something. Saturday night under the lights.
Everton? Nice. All right, well, that would certainly throw the title race wide open.
The sort of biggest question for Arsenal, I know earlier you said that they're wobbling, is the defensive injuries and how they sort of handle that. Because, yes, Calafiori's back from suspension, but Ben White was back for a couple of weeks and has gone. And I think the load on Timber over the next few weeks is going to be
load-bearing Timber.
Yes. Because 1 week he's playing centre-back, then he's playing left-back, then he's playing right-back.
Right.
And I think if he was to get injured, Arsenal would be in real trouble because he's so adaptable. Gabriel said a few weeks away. So I think that's what makes it look as if, they are having a little bit of a wobble. I think that's the reasons why.
When Ben White was replaced by Lewis Skelly last weekend, Arsenal changed the position of everyone in the back four when he came on, and it was, I don't think I've ever seen that before. And it's they do look weaker without that Saliba-Gabriel partnership, but it is a concern, and it's mad given the size of their squad and the options they have. But here we are.
Been a busy week. Aside from those League Cup quarter-finals, there was also the Intercontinental Cup final. This is essentially the old Club World Cup, which FIFA took, expanded into a wonderful new tournament over the summer. But the old Christmas time, couple of Confederation winners playing each other thing finished on Wednesday night with South American champions Flamengo, coached by Luis Felipe, beaten by PSG on penalties after a 1-1 draw. Intriguingly, PSG's backup keeper, Matvei Safonov, saved 4 spot kicks in the penalty shootout, which means, given that he also stopped 2 against Lens in the Coupe de France, he's now on 6 out of 10 saves in shootout penalties. That's amazing, isn't it? It's PSG's 6th trophy this year. Also, midweek, we had the final round of Women's Champions League phase. All the main contenders won, which means that Barcelona, Lyon, Chelsea, and Bayern take the 4 automatic spots in the knockout stages. The likes of Arsenal, Man United, and Real Madrid and Juventus all go through to knockouts. Roma, despite a 6-1 final league phase victory against St. Pölten, miss out, as do Benfica and Paris Saint-Germain. Woof. Anyway, up in Scotland, how's Celtic manager Wilfred Nancy getting on?
Badly.
I mean, Russell Martin 2.0.
Have you seen the Venn diagrams flying around?
Ooh, what's in the Venn diagram?
Well, I mean, this feels harsh. So
He's recorded he had already, prior to, was it Wednesday night's game? Yeah, Wednesday night, they got beaten 2-1 against Dundee, away at Dundee United, which means that he's now lost his first 4 games in charge. That's never happened to a Celtic manager. It is Celtic's worst run now since January 1978. They dropped to 6 points behind Hearts, although with a game in hand.
Yeah, and it's a mad season in Glasgow, isn't it? Because obviously Rangers started appallingly, and then our podcast friend Martin O'Neill steadied Celtic and got them back on track, and then it's just gone very badly. And as Benji says, Wilfred Nancy changed his profile pic on his Twitter account to a Venn diagram with it's very, very kind of Instagram-y, wasn't it?
He's just come from America, hasn't he? It's quite. Yes. It's not Instagram. It's quite LinkedIn.
Yeah,
it's kind of like.
So what does the Venn diagram represent?
Well, Dunks, you've got it in front of you.
Yeah, it's, on the left-hand side, it's things that matter. Okay. On the right-hand side, it's things you can control.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a little overlap, and he's like, that's what you should focus on. So
and then Dundee United, he beat them last
I mean, this is some of the greatest posting for a long time.
They've done their own Venn diagram, which doesn't actually make any sense, but it's just great fun. It's got the 2 circles. One's win, one's lose. And the overlap in the middle says 2-1, with weirdly the William Hill Premiership logo pointing at it. But anyway,
maybe that's some branded content. I'm not sure I understand that. I think the biggest question is, then will Celtic win again?
Oh, yeah, very good. Either like Venn on Venn action is quite,
Oh yeah, there you go. Fans booing and calling, as you say, for Martin O'Neill. Fans booing and calling for replacements. Anyway, Spurs are taking on Liverpool. That's Saturday tea time. Jay, you're going to be there, aren't you?
Certainly am.
You ring that in red on your diary because this is the top scoring fixture in Premier League history. Never has there been another pair of teams who've combined for as many goals in their meetings.
Yeah, I think this fixture was played at the exact same time last year, just before Christmas.
Yeah, like Everton Arsenal is every year. That fixture computer, don't trust it.
Yeah, not much about Tottenham's season so far suggests crazy scorelines, but
they did lose to PSG 5-3 a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I think in the beginning of the season they were defensively solid and they looked better, but that sort of seems to have fallen apart over the last few weeks, and they conceded 3 against Forest at the weekend.
Well, yeah, that was quite crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that amazes me about Spurs this season is like, Jay, you know better than anyone how good a manager Thomas Frank is. He is an indisputably good manager. But I do just feel, talking of Vens, a couple of weeks ago, Mickey van der Ven and
Jed Spence,
when they basically are walking off the pitch and they just mug him off, right? They completely ignore him.
Yeah. And
you do wonder if that's sort of like really emblematic of.
No, everybody did wonder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everyone wondered.
But it's just it reminded me sort of Graham Potter at West Ham when these managers just don't seem to have the authority and the heft. And whilst obviously he did an amazing job at Brentford, he's dealing with a different level of egos now. And I just think it'd be so Spursy if they managed to like do away with another potentially really good manager just because they can't sort their shit out.
This kind of universal tool that is the adjective Spursy, is that now a quality of Spursiness? Getting rid of really good managers who do elsewhere, who do well elsewhere. Who have they got rid of then?
Well, Ange.
Yeah.
Amazing record until he got to Spurs.
And afterwards?
Well, previously, the Conte. He had a pretty good record before he went there.
Yeah. But do you not remember Conte's...
Nuno had a pretty good manager record before he went there.
So Nuno I accept, yeah.
But do you not remember Conte slagged off the club in a famous 5-10 minute press conference where he said, "This is the history of Spurs." He had to go.
I take your point that it would be unfortunate if Thomas Frank, but that's what a lot of the fans, I believe, Jay, are now praying for. The word this week, Jack Pitt-Brook reporting on The Athletic, that the hierarchy at Hotspur have given him their backing.
Yeah, I think Thomas Frank said it himself after the Forest game that it's not a quick fix at Spurs. Ever since Pochettino left, no manager's lasted longer than 2 years. So to break the cycle, at some point, you need to trust someone. I guess the fan base are asking themselves, do they feel that Thomas Frank is the right person to trust?
Right. I think a lot of them already have their answer.
I think a lot of them do already have the answer. Sometimes it's hard to tell because you can look on social media and everybody seems to say we don't want to keep Frank. And then sometimes when I look in the comments of my articles, people seem to be a bit more thoughtful and considered and want to see him given time. I think the biggest frustration is that Spurs just aren't fun to watch at the moment. They look quite disjointed. They had 2 good wins against Slavia Prague and Brentford at home.
Right.
You should be winning those games. And then they go away to Nottingham Forest and they struggle to create any chances. Duncan will know the exact figures. Is it 6 games this season they've not even managed an XG of 1?
It's more than that. I mean,
Wow.
6 of their last 7 Premier League games, they've gone under 1
Yikes.
XG.
Wow.
And the only one they did get above was Brentford, which is kind of like almost a free hit for Frank, isn't it? 'Cause,
So this is the concern. As Frank says, you need time. You can't turn it around without time. But when you're not showing any signs of progress, in fact, possibly quite the opposite, that's when people start to feel that you're chucking time away.
It's really difficult because Spurs in Ange's first season were fantastic for the first 10 games and then teams worked out how to play them and they dropped off a cliff. And there was a point in March where they looked dead cert to get the Champions League and they didn't. They finished 5th. Last season they finished 17th. It's hard to know exactly what this team's level is, because if you take away the 10 games at the beginning of Postecoglou's reign, they were a bang average mid-table
and take away a couple of the players that they lost at the start.
Exactly. They've not got I sort of made this comment on the View from the Lane podcast that we do at The Athletic for Spurs the other day, is the difference between Spurs now and a couple of years ago, that the average quality of their squad is the exact same. They just don't have Harry Kane and Song Heung-min. Is it as simple as that? They had 2
and they don't
incredible
have Madison and
exactly.
Players
Is it as simple as that?
But Kane and Son as well are 2 of the players who outscored their XG by more than anyone else. So maybe their quality was hiding that longer term issue.
Yeah.
Spurs then in difficulty essentially, and not much prospects of improving this weekend as they host
17th last year. So they're a mid-table. That's kind of like if another team had come 17th, and then the following season at this stage was 11th, wherever they are, people would be like,
I completely agree with you, and that's why I find it so frustrating. The Spurs fans are getting moany about Frank.
But I think the other side to what Jay was saying is that the results are probably better than the performances, and the results aren't great, and the performances are bad, and it's like particularly at home. I think if you're going to have bad performances, at least do it on the road, because if every home game is just like a trudge through.
I accept that, but this is shock therapy for them, right? After Ange, to some extent, he's gone in there and said, right, I've got to improve this team. What's the most obvious thing to do?
The defending.
Yeah,
they conceded 3 against Forest last
that
week.
doesn't help my argument, does it?
Yeah, it's a concern.
But he's trying to make them less like gung ho. Is the point, and therefore he's made them boring.
But Ange did that at the end of last season to win
in the cup. He did.
Yeah.
Admittedly, against Forest did have a lot of chances, but the 3 goals they scored, one's come from a mistake by Archie Gray. It's a Callum Hudson-Odoi cross shot, which even he admitted was a combination of both, and then Sangari's hit it with the outside of his boot, and it's gone in off the post. So there's an element of yeah, it's a great goal, but there was an element of the 2 goals, Forest second and third goals. You would let people shoot from that distance normally because the chances of them scoring are very unlikely, unless it's Aston Villa. What I will say is that fans don't like the fact that Frank has referenced a few times, this team finished 17th last year, even though it's a fact. Because it sounds like he's being negative towards the players at his disposal, because a lot of them finished 17th. But also, it was very obvious why they finished 17th, because from mid-Feb, March onwards, Postecoglou rotated his players week in, week out. So Van der Ven, Romero, Maddison, Son, etc. were saved for the knockout stages of the Europa League. So where Spurs are clearly not 17th, the 17th best team in the Premier League. They're not the 5th best team. They're somewhere in the middle. And 11th is pretty much the exact middle, if I've got my maths. So maybe it's that. But it's hard for fans to accept that.
Okay, well, we'll see where they are after this weekend's visit of Liverpool, who won't have Mo Salah because he's gone to AFCON with Egypt. But they will presumably have a Hugo Ekitike, who's got 4 goals in his last 2 Premier League matches. So look out, Spurs.
And he scored against Spurs last year.
For Frankfurt earlier this year, actually, no?
And I think there was an injury doubt over Szoboszlai, but it seems as if he will play.
Ooh, Szoboszlai. Mm-hmm. Ooh. Earlier on Saturday, Sunderland, who are actually on the same points as champions Liverpool, will have their first ever Premier League game against Brighton. This is at the Amex, 3 o'clock Saturday. They haven't met in any competition at all since August 2011. It was only Brighton's 4th ever game at the Amex. But, as I say, Sunderland, same points as champions Liverpool after 16 games, which is pretty good going. Obviously, Liverpool's form is a factor in that. But is this where gravity hits for the Black Cats? They've got a 5th of all the Premier League players who are going to AFCON are going from Sunderland. Woof.
Brighton have got Mitoma back as well.
Ooh. You like Mitoma, don't
a
you?
lot, and I think it gives them two. They've got if both fully fit with Mitoma and Minte, 2 of the most exciting wingers in the league. Minte, I think, is sort of quietly having a brilliant season. We talked about, was it Cherki's on 7 assists, and I think Bruno's the other one. I think Minte's on 7 as well. And that, who must.
I'm not sure about that.
Unless they're including him winning penalties.
I think in the stats I was looking at, they probably did. Anyway, either way, very, very good season.
It's a fantasy stat.
But do you know who must be most annoyed about that? Is Newcastle, because they're having all these problems on the right wing and spending all this money on Alanga. And they got rid of Minte in a financial fair play transfer. Do you know who else they got rid of at the same time for financial fair play? Elliot Anderson.
No.
Yeah, I mean, that has got to be one of the most badly bungled FFP sell-offs in history.
PSR.
Yeah. Well, and Elliot Anderson will come back to you because he's statistically unique, Jimbo.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
On Sunderland,
Yes.
you're talking about how many players they're going to miss because of AFCON.
6.
Siddiqui, Reynildo, players who've been integral to the starting 11. If they do have a bit of a nasty crash back down to earth, at least they've got a huge points buffer where they can swallow it for 3-4 weeks. Those players come back from the competition and they can hopefully kick on again. Because if they were 7, 8, if they had 7 or 8 points less, then you'd be a little bit more worried about them. But they've got enough of a cushion.
You've got 26 and basically 36 will keep you up generally. So they need 10 points.
Yeah, down at the bottom of the table, it's Wolves and it's Burnley and it's West Ham and then Leeds just on the right side of that little dotted line. Leeds playing at home to Palace. That's Saturday at 8 o'clock. Wolves, though, Duncan, you seemed positive earlier on when I suggested that this could be the weekend that Wolverhampton Wanderers finally get a W.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of messages on social media at the moment. People saying that Derby's record will fall.
Yes.
11.
And you're here to say?
That it won't. The Wolves, I think Wolves will get between, it's not going to be great. They're going to get between 15 and 18 points.
Really? 15 and 18 points?
Yeah.
So we've had 16 rounds so far, and they picked up 2.
Yeah.
What are you seeing that's giving you that belief?
Well, their underlying numbers, as we said numerous times, they're not the worst team in the Premier League, based on
Who is?
Burnley.
Oh, okay.
believe.
Yeah, fair.
Burnley, then Wolves, then Sunderland, but we're not allowed to say that. So, but I just think obviously they can't play like they did at Arsenal every week, but they were very disciplined. I just think that we saw Sheffield United a few seasons ago have a similar record to this at this stage of the season, and everyone was like, "Well, Derby's record is going to get shattered," and they ended up in the.
When you say a similar record, they weren't on 2 points.
Yeah, they were on 2 for about the same amount of time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I think if they are going to do that, then this is basically the sort of game they need to start winning.
There's a stat here which is quite remarkable, and I'm struggling to wrap my head around it. Brentford are the only team in the Premier League this season who haven't scored from a corner, even though their head coach, Keith Andrews, was
Set piece coach.
Set piece coach last season. And even under Thomas Frank, Brentford were known for being exceptionally good from set pieces. One of their set piece coaches joined Chelsea. It's quite odd for Brentford to be quite bad.
What do you put that down to? They do have the long throw at their disposal.
Michael Coyote,
Yeah.
I don't quite know. It's a little bit strange. They should be good at it, but maybe it's because Damsgaard's not played as much this season, and Damsgaard normally takes the deliveries, and Bumo used to take a lot of deliveries as well.
Yeah.
Maybe they're... Sorry.
Oh, no, go on. Yeah.
It might just be they're creating lots of chances but haven't scored from a corner, and that eventually they will score 3 weeks in a row or something like that.
Molineux might be a good place to do it, although Brentford, while being strong at home, have only taken 3 points from a possible 24 on the road. Leeds, meanwhile, who are on that 3-game unbeaten run, which is literally the best run that Daniel Farke has ever had in the Premier League. They are at home to Crystal Palace, who have had a great season so far, but this will be their second game in 48 hours, rotation notwithstanding. So, yeah. But Leeds in terrific form. Dominic Calvert-Lewin in terrific form. He scored in 4 Premier League matches in a row. That's a big game. Big game for West Ham, teams in and around Leeds at the bottom of the table.
With Burnley, can I talk briefly about Oliver Son? You see this chap who scored the consolation goal for them last weekend? Right back called Oliver Son, sort of blonde hair, ruddy face. You're like, oh, it must be some sort of academy prospect. No, he's from Denmark. But that's not the most interesting thing about him.
There's something more interesting about him?
Yeah. He represents Peru.
Okay, that is cool.
This guy called Oliver Son, from Denmark, who represents Peru, playing right back for Burnley. That's cool. He's playing against Messi in World Cup qualifiers last season. And it's just all these sort of smaller Latin American nations that are using sort of Ancestry.com as like a scouting network. Yeah. And Peru are at it as well.
I should say his full name's Oliver Son Christensen. That adds a little extra.
I love that. Yeah. Good old Oliver Son.
His maternal grandmother.
Who's he playing for? He plays for
Burnley. Burnley's right back.
He's the nephew of Helena Christensen.
No. No.
Yeah.
That is ultimate. That's even more interesting.
Have I made it more interesting?
That's more interesting. He's the most interesting player in the Premier League.
Wow.
Helena Christensen, the supermodel.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I've got a stat for you, Benji.
Please.
And indeed, you listener. It's not the fact that Burnley have had 7 defeats in a row. It's not the fact that Bournemouth have gone 7 games without a win, although they did their best to pick one up Monday night, of course. It's the fact that 42% of all the Premier League goals scored by teenagers this season, 42% of them have been scored by one teenager by the name of Junior Krupi.
Huh.
Bournemouth's Junior Krupi. That's an astonishing stat, isn't it?
I mean, it shows that not many teenagers are scoring goals. But yeah, he looks good. He's going to be senior Krupi soon if he carries on like this.
That's how it works. Excellent. All right, Fulham Forest is on Monday. Harry Wilson's in terrific form. But you want to give us a stat about...
Well, let me just tell you... Let me just try and set this up. I'm really fascinated by all-rounders. So basically players that were as good going forward. And Peruvians.
Peruvian all-rounders.
The nephew of Helena Christensen.
And he also worked as a model.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Have you got
Who's your favourite player?
What about Charlie, Totally Football Extra, the Oliver Son edition?
Oliver Son.
He's
Okay,
prime for an
good-looking boy.
2,000-word long read at this point.
Yeah. Sorry, anyway, all-rounders. So as good as they are going forwards as they are going backwards. And I tried to find a statistical way of capturing who the best all-rounders in the league are. So I separated a load of opta data into both attacking attributes and defensive attributes, and then was looking for players that are elite in both columns.
Stay with us, listener.
And you sort of gradually increase the thresholds for inclusion until there was only one player left.
Ooh.
And that player was Elliot Anderson.
You distilled the numbers.
I distilled the numbers on both sides. So he's in the top 3% for key passes and successful dribbles. So, for example, that's more than Eze and Gordon. So he's very, very good at taking players on and beating them. He's in the top 1% of fouls suffered. Grealish is number 1. So fouls suffered is generally an attribute of a good attacking player.
Right.
And those are the attacking attributes. He's also in the top 1% for tackles won and ball recovery. And in terms of ball recoveries, he's an absolute machine. So he's made more ball recoveries than anyone else in the league by a distance. So the average Premier League player wins the ball back 3.1 times a game.
Yep.
He wins the ball back 8.2 times a game.
He's a monster.
He's a monster. What were Newcastle thinking? But listen up, rest of the world. Who was number 2 in the hierarchy of all-rounders? It was his England teammate, Declan Rice.
Oh, yeah. That
So,
makes sense.
your France's, your
I had Bruno
Spain's.
Fernandes, but I was clearly wrong on that.
Look out for those, the 2 best all-rounders in the best league in the world.
The base.
At the base of England's midfield. That's quite exciting.
So even with his incredible talents, both going forward and, well, I wouldn't say going backwards, but you know what I mean. Forest are down there in 16th spot, only 5 points off West Ham.
Our friend Nick Miller's got a piece coming out about how Forest under Dyche are actually playing a bit more expansively than people thought. I mean, you'll have seen that against Spurs the other day. And yeah, I think it seems to be so far. I think Dyche at Everton never felt like a perfect fit. It almost felt a bit temporary, even though he was there for quite a while. But I think him at Forest seems to fit pretty well.
Excellent. Well, of course, it's not his
I think
first time, though.
most Forest fans, I think, are pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
It's not what they were expecting. I think they were expecting something much more dour.
Let's see what he comes up with against Marco Silva's Fulham on Monday. That is match day 17. And straight after Monday, Jay, you'll be hopping on an aeroplane
I certainly will.
to Morocco
Yes.
for AFCON. You're
Yep.
joining for, I think, the second round of games?
Yes, I'll be there for Nigeria's second group stage game, which is against Tunisia, and then I'll be following Nigeria a lot, but I'll be bouncing around everywhere. I'm definitely going to go see a Morocco game while I'm out there, Ivory Coast. I'll just see how the storylines unfold. But
How
my colleague,
excited are you?
10 out of 10, 111% on the excitement scale.
What cities are you going through? Do you know yet?
Nigeria, based in Fez mainly.
Fez is
I'll be
amazing.
in Rabat, and I was in Rabat a couple of weeks ago. I get to go to Marrakesh, and then again, it just sort of depends on what madness unfolds, which team ends up in which bracket of the draw. But very, very excited.
And
Brilliant.
for fans of up-and-coming prospects, the Athletics radar will be published tomorrow, Friday, looking at 34 players. At least one from every team. Worth checking out.
The Fez Bazaar, for my money, I reckon it's the best bazaar in Morocco. Everyone is always talking about Janar El Fanar in Marrakesh.
Aren't they, though?
But honestly, on sort of like
Power-ranked
ex-bazaar,
Yeah.
I reckon Fez,
Wow.
under the radar.
Fez.
Yeah. It's really beautiful Fez. And also Essaouira, if you get a chance to go to Essaouira on the coast.
Yeah, I've been to Essaouira. It's nice.
Stunning. Yeah, Blue City.
I've never been to
Tagazout-
Morocco.
Tagazout's where all the
You
kind
been
of...
to- you
hippies
went
are.
the other day,
Rabat,
didn't you?
yeah.
Yeah. But this tournament looks particularly intriguing, this
I think it's
Cup
going to
Nations.
be amazing. There's loads of storylines. Firstly, it's on Channel 4, so I think it's possibly the first time it's been on free-to-air TV in the UK, or certainly the first time in a while.
The Beeb used to show it.
Yeah.
It used to be
It used to be on-
Eurosport, and then...
It was Sky a couple of years ago, but people have better access to it.
Yeah.
It's going to be fascinating to see what Mohamed Salah does.
Yeah.
Interesting to see what Nigeria do after missing out on World Cup qualification.
Yeah.
I think I said last week Cameroon are in a little bit of chaos because they've just sacked their manager, and Samuel Eto'o, who's the president of the Cameroonian FA, has brought someone else in. Morocco the fans were just incredible at the last World Cup, and I think hosting this tournament is going to be great to see. And they obviously co-host the 2030 World Cup, so intriguing to see how their public transport, their infrastructure works out. Loads of different things to keep an eye on.
Yeah. Mahir Mazahi was on recently where we did our World Cup draw reaction show, and he was saying that he thinks that probably the strongest team in Africa right now is South Africa. He thinks that people are sleeping on Bafana a bit.
Yeah, in some content we've done for The Athletic, I've said they're dark horses as well. Well, not even dark horses, they should be serious contenders. They were at the semi-final of the last AFCON and only got knocked out by Nigeria on penalties. They topped their World Cup qualifying group. South Africa have one of the best domestic leagues in Africa, and their squad is made up of lots of players from Mamelodi Sundowns, who are at the Club World Cup in the summer, and the Orlando Pirates. So that just gives them that degree of familiarity that's very hard to get.
Right.
And international
I
football.
can't help but think of Water Park when you say that, but yeah, go on.
Especially when FIFA keep pushing back the release days. But I think there is a bit of a cloud hanging over South Africa now because the head coach made some quite unsavoury comments about one of their players last week. He's since come out and apologised, but I do wonder if that will impact the team's harmony.
Crikey.
What did he say? Sorry, maybe you can't say it.
He said
Give us a bucket of outrage that it falls into.
racially insensitive
kidding.
comments
Really?
about
Wow.
one of the defenders, and his female agent as well. So
Crikey.
he was sort of ticking all the boxes on how many people can I offend.
Well, that's unfortunate. Jay, I hope it's all smiles all the way, and looking forward to hearing from you from Morocco. Many thanks for today. Thank you, Duncan. See you tomorrow for next week's Totally Extra.
Ho, ho, ho.
And thanks to you, Benji, for taking time out from your day job, distilling stats about Premier League players. Thank you in the booth to producers Jake and Charlie, and you, listener. Do join us on Saturday when Asa Kripania and Sasha Gurinov will be with us doing that El Nino Chatathon. And for now, from all of us here, it's goodbye. The Totally Football Show podcast is available 3 times a week, bringing you all the football news you could reasonably be expected to care about. We've got views, we've got stats, we've got analysis, we've got some of the best football writers around, and the whole thing is absolutely free. So have a listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or all the usual places by clicking on the link below.